1942?
1941.
Yeah. 1941.
Yeah!
I'm so confused. Am I done? Can you do the rest of them? Is that all of them? No.
I can go ahead and
Okay.
continue.
Does anybody know why the U.S. entered World War II?
Pearl Harbor.
Yes, sir, it is Pearl Harbor. And last but not least, what year did the U.S. declare independence from Britain?
1776.
Yes, ma'am. All right, thank you guys. We're going to give you guys just a couple more seconds to log in, and then we're going to get started.
Go ahead.
Don't you have your attender out? You are going to. Well, you need to go with Miss Crowder.
Okay, awesome. I'll probably just do the reading and stuff for it. I'll just do the reading and stuff for it.
Alrighty, can I get a show of hands of about how many people who are still logging in? A couple? Okay, I'll give you a couple more minutes. All right, is anybody still logging in? All right, guys, I'm just going to give you a few more minutes before we get started, okay? All right, we're going to go ahead and get started, guys. All right, this is our citizenship test. Which applies to you? I am not yet 17 and a half years old. I am 17 and a half years old or older, but not registered to vote. I'm 17 and a half years or older, and I am already registered to vote. Or I'm not a U.S. citizen, therefore cannot register to vote. All right. Where is the Statue of Liberty? In the U.S. Capitol Building, New York Central Park, in New York Harbor, or the National Mall in Washington, D.C.? Name one U.S. territory. Guam, Hawaii, Bahamas, or Key West? Remember, Hawaii is a state, not a territory. Who is in charge of the executive branch? The CEO, Chief Executive Officer, Congress, Supreme Court, or the President? What do we show loyalty when we say the Pledge of Allegiance? The President, the Constitution, the United States of America, or the Supreme Court? Under our Constitution, some powers belong to the federal government. What is one power of the federal government? To provide schooling and education, to provide police protection, to maintain roads and highways, or to create an army? Name one problem that led to the Civil War. States' rights, the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, the addition of new states to the Union, or taxation without representation. What is one right for freedom of the First Amendment? Voting, assembly, land ownership, or trial by jury? How many justices are on the Supreme Court? 3, 6, 9, or 12? What is the name of the national anthem? America the Beautiful, the Star-Spangled Banner, Stars and Stripes Forever, or God Bless America? All right, last question. The House of Representatives has how many voting members? 435, 450, 100, or 500? Alrighty, here are our winners. In third place, Goob. Second, Lady Gaga. And first, I don't know, I'm not gonna try. All right, if any of you guys won, if you'll come down here, we've got prizes for you guys.
The big one's first prize.
I'm talking about them.
I'm thinking first, second, third?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, which one were you? Third? Okay. Third place.
We're supposed to ask what programs. To ask what programs they're in.
What program? What's your name and
You're
what
first.
program? Okay. All right, what program are you from?
Come back here, let me introduce you guys so everybody knows who won.
All right, what's your name?
Ethan, computer networking.
Your name and where you from?
Jayton, PEA.
Coolidge, PEA.
All right, congratulations, you guys. Good job. All right. I don't think I've formally introduced myself. My name is Chelsea Morris. I'm from Graphic Design Program. And I'm going to be introducing you guys to our guest speaker. Her name is Patricia Carter. She's our county election board. She's going to give you some information about voter and voter registration. So if you guys will please give her a round of applause and welcome her.
There you go.
Good morning. I'm pretty impressed with y'all knowing that trivia. I am Patricia Carter. I'm the election board secretary. Every county has an election board secretary that is appointed by a senator, and that is where you go to handle any of your voting issues. We handle all of your voter registration applications, absentee applications. If somebody has passed away and needs to come off the rolls, that's also where we do early in-person voting. In Pottawatomie County, we currently have roughly about 41,000 registered voters. That is up. 7 years ago, we had 32,000. So we are increasing. We love to see young people come out to vote. One of the reasons why this has increased is we've made it easier for people to register to vote. You can now do that online through the State Election Board website. There's a QR code up there, and the website's listed. You have to still print out your application and sign it because we have to have an original signature and then mail it in or drop it off at our office. You can also register to vote at the county election board, any tag agency, or your local public libraries, or you can just step right outside today and see the girls at the table and myself, and you can register to vote today. In the state of Oklahoma, you have to be 18 years old in order to vote. But a couple of years ago, the law changed to where you can go ahead and pre-register at 17 and a half. What happens is we just hold your registration card until you turn 18, and then we mail it to you. So if you're 17 and a half, please stop and register today. You must be a citizen in the state of Oklahoma. There is no document required to register. You will not have to show a driver's license or any ID today to register because you will sign an oath that everything that you're providing is correct. So you will either have to know your driver's license or the last four of your social in order to register today. The voter registration application has to be approved by myself and my office in order to assign you to the right districts so that you're voting for your people that represent you. Then we have to have your address of residence that is correct and able to locate it in our county, and other things like date of birth, things like that are required. Frequently asked questions. What address do I use? You use the address where you live. Do I have to choose a party? You do not have to choose a party today. But if you leave that blank, it is going to default you to an independent voter. We do have 6,700 independent voters in our county. What that means is we are a closed primary state. That means when we have a primary election, you know, we just had an election in June and one in August. At a primary election, each party is choosing their candidate that's going to represent them in the November general election. So when you go to vote in your primary, you're voting your party that you chose. So if you choose to be an independent, right now in the state of Oklahoma, the Democrats are the only party that have approved for independents to vote in their primary. Our parties that are recognized in Oklahoma are Democrat, Libertarian, and Republican. If you go away to school at any time, you can vote by absentee voting. I know that some of you travel from several counties away and might not be able to get to your polling place on Tuesday. I have absentee applications out there on the table, and that'll be voting by mail. I assure you it is safe and secure in the state of Oklahoma. The state of Oklahoma is one of the top-rated election systems in the whole United States for our security, protocol, and our procedures. Do I have to show ID every time I vote? Yes, you do. I know that you see that on Facebook all the time. Oklahoma needs to require ID. We do. Proof of identity is a recognized ID by the United States government, the state of Oklahoma, or a tribal government, or it's the card that we issue you, and you can vote by that. Are there any questions? Okay, I'm going to cut it off there because they told me I needed to be really short. And I will be out at the table with the young ladies. If you have any questions about registering to vote, please stop and come and see me.
All right, hi. I'm Landon Ayers. I'm from the Carpentry and Masonry program, and now we're going to show you a short little video about the Constitution. It's Schoolhouse Rock. I'm sure you've all seen it.
And it's been helping us run our country ever since then. The first part of the Constitution is called the Preamble and tells what those founding fathers set out to do. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. In 1787, I'm told our founding fathers all sat down and wrote a list of principles that's known the world around. The USA was just starting out a whole brand new country, and so our people spelled it out. They wanted a land of liberty, and the preamble goes like this. We the people, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish
Hello, my name is Gage Bailey. I'm from the electrical program, and I would like to introduce Ron Markham, the pre-engineer instructor. He's going to talk to you guys a little bit about the Constitution.
Nobody likes to be told what to do. You just don't. That's a natural tendency. When I was a kid, I didn't like to be told to make my bed in the morning or brush my teeth. I especially didn't like to be told, do your homework. Nobody likes to be told what to do. But there's more of a mindset that goes to that vein of thinking than most people realize. That's just a natural tendency. We do not like to be told what to do. And it goes back a long way. And I know I'm supposed to talk about the Constitution, and I'm going to do that, but I don't want to talk about the actual document. I want to talk to you for just a few minutes about the spirit of the Constitution and the type of people that wrote it and the type of people that it was written for. Nobody likes to be told what to do. Matter of fact, that was the theme of the very first immigrants to this country from Europe, about the year 1620. And it goes back even before that. In the year 1604, the Pilgrims in England were told, you have to worship this way. You have to be a member of this particular church to be a member of our society. And they said, reign on that. So in 1604, they left England because they were so persecuted. They had their properties taken. How would you guys in the welding like to have a really nice welding machine on the back of your truck and the government comes in and says, no, you can't have that, and confiscates it? That's what was happening to these people. Some of them that were thrown in jail, so they made the trip over to Holland, spent 10 years there. Things got so oppressive there, they came to the New World. Didn't like to be told what to do. And through the course of time, they set out various rules for liberty. Matter of fact, in the 1680s, they wrote down 100 discourses on liberty. In other words, limiting what the government could do to the people. And eventually that idea, that mindset of not being told what to do made its way all the way to the Declaration of Independence in 1776. It says, when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them to another and to assume among the powers of the earth their separate and equal station which the laws of nature and nature's God entitled them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind require that they declare the causes which impel them to the separation. In other words, England, we're tired of you telling us what to do. We planted our own garden. We planted our seeds. We plowed it. Why should the king eat our fruit? And then you guys all know the rest of the next part. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and what? The pursuit of happiness. In other words, we have the right to do what makes us happy. And then the next sentence is probably one of the most important sentences ever written in the English language. It says, to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men. In other words, we had these rights before, but we don't want anybody taking them away from us. We don't want to be told what to do, but to secure these rights, to secure to the individual, to secure to you your life, to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, government is instituted. We don't live because we don't have rights because government gives it to us. We have government because we have rights. And then eventually, a few years later, that spirit ended up in a document called the Constitution. Now, if you read the Constitution, and I hope you do, it takes you about 30 minutes, if you're a slow reader, to read it. It's a pretty dry document. Kind of hard to read because it tells the government what it can and can't do. It doesn't tell you what you can and can't do. That's the beauty of our Constitution. It tells the government what it can and cannot do. And the rest of it, according to the 10th Amendment, is left to you or the states to do. In other words, it puts limits on what the government can tell you what to do. That's the beauty and the uniqueness. Never happened before in the history of the world. The Constitution of the United States. Never before. Human history was broken in half, basically, at our Constitution. It is currently the longest Constitution alive in the world. And it's because its ideas and authority do not rest with a president, do not rest with a king, it rests with you. How does it start? We, the people. That's me, the people. That's you, the people. And if you don't get involved in that particular form of government, those people that want power will actually migrate to that, and then before long, it won't be we the people, it'll be me the king telling you what to do. And a few years later, a Frenchman, of all people, you guys seen the movie The Patriot and Benjamin Martin? He's out in the battlefield fighting, and Lafayette comes out, and the French. But this Frenchman studied government and our system of government, and he wrote a little essay called The Law. And now, I'm almost done, but I'm going to read you a portion of this, and then after I read this, I want to brag on you guys a little bit, because you have actually taken the time in your life to do what this guy says. Now, it's written in 1840, so you're going to have to put your 1840 ears on, or it's going to go right over you. So you got your 1840 ears on? Here we go. It says, we hold from God the gift which includes all others. This gift is life, physical, intellectual, and moral life. But life cannot maintain itself alone. The Creator of life has entrusted us with the responsibility of preserving, developing, and protecting it. In order that we may accomplish this, He has provided us with a collection of marvelous faculties, mind and body, faculties. And He has put us in the midst of a variety of natural resources. By the application of our faculties to these natural resources, we convert them into products and use them. This process is necessary in order that life may run its appointed course. Life, faculties, production. In other words, individuality, liberty, and property. This is man. And despite the cunning art of some political leaders, these three gifts from God precede all others and are superior to it. Life, liberty, and property do not exist because men have made laws. On the contrary, it was the fact that life, liberty, and property existed beforehand that caused men to make laws in the first place. Self-preservation and self-development are common aspirations among all people. If everyone enjoyed, listen to this really carefully, if everyone enjoyed the unrestricted use of his faculties and the free disposition of his property, social progress would be ceaseless, uninterrupted, and unfailing. But there is also another tendency that is common among man. When they can, when they can, they wish to live and prosper at the expense of others. When they can, they wish to live and prosper at the expense of others. This fatal desire has its origin in the very nature of man, and then that primitive instinct that impels him to satisfy his desires with the least amount of pain. It just makes sense. You want a hamburger for lunch? You don't want to go out and dig 2 miles of ditch. You want to get that hamburger for the least amount of pain possible, for the least cost. But if that's taken too far, we all have the tendency to live at the expense of others. In other words, he's got a hamburger, he's not looking, I'll take it. We wish to live at the expense of others. And here's where I want to brag on you guys for just a minute, and I'm almost done. You guys have taken the time to come here to Gordon Cooper. This is a school of choice. You chose to be here. You didn't have to come here. Nobody told you go to Gordon Cooper. You chose to come here and use your mind and use your hands to learn a skill, to learn a trade, to learn work, to learn how to labor, to learn how to handle the pain so that you don't have to live at the expense of others. I commend you for that. One of the greatest decisions you'll ever make. And you are exactly the type of people the Constitution was written for. Matter of fact, our second president, John Adams, said, our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other. In other words, it's made for people that will control themselves so the government doesn't have to. You have an internal rule inside of you, and you have demonstrated that internal rule and that you can control yourself by being here. And I want to brag on you to no end. When you're here, you are doing life's work. And then finally, while you're here, this is high value time. Make the most of it. Don't goof off in class. Matter of fact, show up early to class. And if you're early, go ahead and get on your work. I know it's painful. But in the back of your mind, you're thinking, I'm preparing myself so I don't live at the expense of others. And I can truly fulfill the calling that our founding fathers gave us through the Constitution. High value time. Make sure you use it wisely. And to me, you guys are the cream of the crop. You are the actual citizens that the Constitution was written for. And I'm going to ask you to do one thing. Don't take anything I said up here as true until you verify it for yourself. When you get ready to vote, don't just go in there and, I don't know who to vote for. Go in there prepared, like you're preparing your life now, learning, using your faculties, your mind and will to learn to do a skill. Learn the issues. Get prepared to vote. And then never miss a vote. Never miss an opportunity to be in class. Never miss an opportunity to learn. And then you will fulfill the actual dreams and desires of the founding fathers and all those people that have sacrificed so much for us to live in a free country, the only one like it on the earth. Yes, I do believe in American exceptionalism. We are it. If we fail, it will be because my generation did not pass on to your generation the love of this country, and you let it slip. Please don't do that. Mr. Ferris. Don't do that, all right? So, in closing, I'm bragging on you. You are the people that everything rests on your shoulders. Do the right thing.
Very good, Ron. Thank you, Mr. Markham. And I'd like to especially thank Mrs. Carter from the voter board. There we go. Let me get it out. But the reason we are actually here today, number one, is we want to talk about the Constitution, but we wanted to have an assembly. I polled my class, and I'm going to be short. I polled my class. I had 11 students that were eligible to vote, and I only had 3 that were registered. And this is what we're talking about. Some of you, I had one student that told me, he said, well, my vote doesn't count. Your vote counts. It may not technically count a little, but it does. But especially at small elections. If you're voting for a school board member, if you're voting to get your school funded through the bonds and stuff like that, you're voting for mayor, there's, especially in those small elections, your vote counts. So we have the desk out here, but I'm standing between you and probably what you think is important, some cupcakes out there. So everybody's going to get a treat. Pat yourself on the back for helping out today, but we're going to do this, I don't know if it's democratically, we're going to do it with the law of the draw. So with that, we have 4 numbers here. We're going to put them in the hat. This is section 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to do this so we don't have the cattle run. So mix them up and pull a section out for us. Number 1, there you go. Once again, let me challenge you, if you're 17 and a half, please go by the table and vote or get registered to vote. If you have any questions, Ms. Carter's going to be there to answer them along with the students. But they have the voter papers. We will mail them for you. Please get registered. Okay.